quite what happened there. So let's go in and let's fire this up and let's show you this stuff working. So what I've got here is a VM just with all the clients on it and that kind of stuff. Just wait for this to spin up, and we'll just walk you through and demo how this works. So like I said, I've got installed here, I've got an R77.10 manager and R77.10 gateway. This is actually our live production environment that I'm about to show you. So everything that works here, actually we have in place, working and in use within our office environment. Those of you who know me for a while know that I do really believe in trying to show things working as realistically as possible. So I'd imagine this is going to need to be reconnected. Let's just do that quickly. Or not, as the case may be. That's smart. There we go. That's what I was expecting it to say to me. So I have a web browser session here, which I'm going to try and download an exploited file from. So I actually have some files that Checkpoint have given me to be able to demo this solution. So it is simulated, if you like, in terms of how it works, but it is valid, and like I said, it does work, and it does demonstrate what's occurring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to one of those exploited files. I have it kind of lined up, ready to go here. And what you're going to see is this machine is just going to spin. You can see the swirl is just spinning. It's waiting, it's waiting, it's waiting. If I go in and look in Tracker and look at the threat emulation data in Tracker, what you will see is you will see a blocked file. And what we'll then be able to look at is exactly what happened when I try to download that. So if we go into here and have a look at the bottom, he says, give it a second. Let's try downloading another one as well. Just get hold of a couple of these. A watched exploit never runs and all that. We have here, this is where I ran it earlier, just while I'm waiting for that to show up. You can see this is not downloaded. We have here the report from where it ran earlier. So you can see I ran this at 9:45 just before we came online. Murphy's Law says that now that I'm doing it live with all of you, it's not working, but this was when I did it at 9:45 this morning. Here's the file. This is where I got it from. And here are the reports. So the first thing I'm going to show you is the Windows 7 report, because the Windows 7 report is actually quite interesting. And what the Windows 7 report shows is that this file, as you'll see in a second, although it detected malicious activity based on the fact that it behaved like known malware, actually it didn't do anything. What happened is that it merely crashed Acrobat as it ran. So this is Windows 7 32-bit with Office 2003, Office 2007, Acrobat 9 on it, this particular image that it ran against. And you can actually see all that happened is that Acrobat crashed. Nothing else went on. Let's go and see what it did to Windows XP Service Pack 3. So if we click onto that. So on XP Service Pack 3, very, very different kettle of fish. It actually opened a scan of a CV. You can see that in the screenshot there, hopefully. It did DNS lookups. It did HTTPS lookups. It affected registry keys. It set some registry keys. It mucked about with the Explorer process, created some processes, and it affected some files. Here are the screenshots of what it did. So you get an idea of what the end user would have seen and what would have come up. Nothing from their point of view. It just ran Acrobat. Nothing happened. We can look at the residues that were left behind, what files were changed, etc., etc. So all of this, here's a full breakdown of everything that happened by time. So it took 20 seconds nearly before it actually did anything. See, I just get a page can't be displayed eventually as it fails. All of these things happened in the background. And all of these things didn't work effectively because of the fact that we stopped it. Let's flip back into the report. So all these connect requests, you can see it's trying. It couldn't get out, obviously. It created files, all that kind of stuff. So this is all the stuff that it just kept doing after a minute, still trying, etc., etc. So this is all the things that file did when it tried to execute. And that was blocked in real time. I didn't allow that file down until it had been successfully emulated, and on successful emulation, you can see it stopped it. Here are other files for argument's sake, that have been emulated that we've downloaded. This one came down from Bytes. It's actually the checkpoint release notes. No threats were found in that. If we go up to the next one, release notes again, etc., etc. These are all files that we have downloaded that have come into us today. So the last one was at 10:30, which came in via email. So these are all files either via web or via SMTP that are coming into us all the time. This one here is the one that stopped. In terms of how we set the policy and what control we've got over it, if I just show you that quickly. We have a fair amount of control over how this product works, but ultimately it is very, very simple. We can do things like we can change the subnet that it gets emulated in, checkpoint user 169.254 subnet. You can change that to mimic your stuff in the office if you want to. We also have options around, as I said, whether it blocks it in real time or whether it waits until after it's been scanned to release the file, etc. The policy is all set under the threat prevention section within the checkpoint management server. We go into here and look, and we'll see that in the last, as it loads up, go across into there. If we go to the overview, you'll see the statistics for it. You'll see it found a threat 1 in the last hour. See, we've been testing this. We saw 3 around that time, etc., etc. So this all shows up in here all nicely. You've got the policy for it. It's all done on profiles. I'll show you the profiles in a second. So here our gateway is running antibot, antivirus, and threat prevention in prevent mode, which is all good. If we go into the different profiles that are available, these are the profiles we've created. So we're actually running this profile on that gateway. So you can see we've got antivirus, antibot, and threat emulation turned on. We're looking at incoming files only in all cases, and we're detecting high confidence, preventing high confidence, but we're detecting medium and low confidence at the moment. And that's how it's running. So you just work through and set that up how you want. All the different protections that are available in here, whether they're signature-based, threat emulation, all of that kind of stuff. And these, any of these, you can click on them as you want and change them to be as you want in your policy. So very, very simple, very easy to use. Push the policy to the gateway, away you go. In addition to that, for those of you who've got Smart Event obviously is fully integrated to this. You have the ability to produce really nice, simple reports of how much has been happening and how much has been going on. So if I just open this up, you'll be able to see that as well. And again, very, very simple, very, very easy to use. There we go. So here's the last 7 days. We look for the last 24 hours. So we've got high risk. High risk will be threat emulation. Here it is from yesterday. So these reports are all here. This information is here. We've got the summary. So you can see exactly what happened on the front page. I mean, it's as simple as that. The important stuff, high risk, click on that. That will take you straight into that as a list of stuff that happened. That's in terms of applications. Threat prevention, etc. is all in here. Down here, look, threat emulation. As I said, click on that. We've got the summary, we've got the file, we've got the stuff that it did. We can click into the details if we want and actually look at the specific log entry. We can even go and look at the specific policy line that it happened in. We can go to the rule, we can add exceptions, etc., etc., etc. So it all hooks in together and it all works together. You can even, if we go into here and look at all events just by threat emulation if you wanted to, search for the last 24 hours. There we go. Again, it's all here. So you've got this ability to break this down. I think this is really important with Smart Event. Tracker is great and Tracker is really useful. It shows you normally the last 12 to 24 hours of data. But this is where you can see everything that's been happening over time. This is where you can produce your reports, and this is where your HR department or whoever comes to you and says, how much of this have we had in the last week or things like that. This is where this actually helps you, and this is where this actually pulls all of this together. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to show you, to be fair. I think there's nothing else really I wanted to cover. Thank you very much for your time. I'll just work through the questions in a minute and read them out, and we'll figure out if there's anything we can answer or not answer. If there's anything we can't answer, we'll come back to you. Just before I do move on to the questions, one other thing that Shona asked me to cover was we do have an event on the 4th of March, which is Directing the Modern Network. It's at the BAFTA Arena in Piccadilly in London. Checkpoint, F5, WebSense, etc. will all be there. It's expo-ish, if you like, in terms of the way we're doing it. We're going to have technical breakouts, etc., and I'm going to have a large number of staff down there. So good opportunity for you to come down and see some different vendors as well as Checkpoint, chat to us about things, and hopefully it'll be a really good day out. So just to cover that. So let's have a look-see and see what questions we've got. Leave this on, but stop showing that. So we've had 4 questions so far. Let's have a look at what we've got. USB keys. This is a network-based solution. USB keys are covered by the Checkpoint endpoint product in terms of scanning, AV, that kind of stuff. What we're stopping here is stuff coming in through the network channel. I've just been asked about the sandbox environment. Yes, it is running a full copy of Windows 7 and a full copy of Windows XP. It's Windows 7 Service Pack 1. It's Windows XP Service Pack 3. They are full, genuine virtual machine copies of them running either in the cloud on Checkpoint's network or on your own appliance, which is a specific emulation appliance. The data is passed across it and it is run. The question here is it running a copy of your XP, has been asked. I think, as I mentioned, you can have your own software image running on it, but we wouldn't recommend that you do that because it does take you out the update code stream. Can a Checkpoint endpoint do emulation? No, not at this time. I don't see any reason why they couldn't go down that route in the future, where they pass it up to the gateway, which will scan it and then pass it back, but it would be laggy, it wouldn't work if you weren't on the network, etc., etc. But at this time, no, endpoint can't do emulation, but I can't imagine that they won't go down that route at some point in the future. Are there any other questions from people? I haven't got any at the moment that are sat there waiting to be answered. I'll just sit here just for a couple. Here we go. The question is, if the sandbox copy of XP noticed unauthorized registry changes, it will flag it up so it doesn't happen in real. Well, if it noticed unauthorized registry changes, it wouldn't have ever let the file come down, or if it did let the file come down, it would have alerted you and you'd know that you need to clean that machine up. So that's the choice you have on how it deals with the file. Do you wait until after it's been scanned, or do you pass it on and scan it in the background effectively? That is the question you would have to resolve as a business. If you refuse to let the file down until it's been scanned, then the file would never reach the client. If you scanned it in the background and passed the file down and somebody opened it, then it's not going to stop it's not going to stop anything on that machine. That machine is going to get infected, but you're going to know what happened to it. I think provide updates via right. Okay, so I've just had the question about Microsoft Security Essentials. This comes back to the straight antivirus question. This is not plugging any kind of 0-day. If Microsoft take a week to release a signature for a virus, then you're vulnerable for a week. If that's the way you want it to work, then great. If not, then you have to look at it. Personally, I would question whether I could look my chairman in the eye and say I've done everything I can just by going back to, effectively, it'd be like you're saying now, do you know what, we're not going to bother patching our machines. Don't bother patching Windows 7, it doesn't matter. You all patch for a reason. If you thought it didn't matter, you wouldn't do it. If you're saying Microsoft Security Essentials actually is the answer, then you could kind of say, and I'm being a little bit facetious here, you could kind of say, you may as well stop patching everything and put it on all the stuff. You know, there are, a couple of people have commented on, there are alternatives out there. Absolutely, there are alternatives out there. From a gateway point of view, we think this works very well because it's a simple tick box to activate it and work in the cloud if you're on the right version. It's kind of a question of how you want to deal with it. So I think that is all the questions that we've had. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. It's really appreciated. And we'll be posting this up online, sending a link round as well. And obviously there'll be more information on the next event. I've had one last question. Would this complement an existing antivirus? Yes, it would. And firewall, no, because in order to run it with at the perimeter, you have to have a full checkpoint setup with what we've just showed you. But like I said, other people do have other options. So with that one, we'll shut this down. Thank you very much for your questions. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. It's really appreciated as always, and we'll speak to you soon. Thank you.